The aroma of spiced cider and roasted turkey hits me the moment I step through my childhood home's front door, but something else lingers beneath those familiar scents, tension thick as fog on a winter morning. In the living room, Mom stands at the head of the dining table, her fingers drumming an uneven rhythm on the polished wood while relatives cluster in hushed conversations around her. Maya. Mom's voice cuts through the murmur, measured and cold as steel. We need to discuss the holiday dinner arrangements. My heart stutters. I've heard that tone before. It never leads anywhere good. Sophie and Noah won't be joining us this year, she continues, each word precise and deliberate. We're aiming for a more refined atmosphere. The statement hangs in the air like a slap. Across the room, my brother Ryan's kids squeal with delight as Aunt Sarah showers them with attention. No one suggests they should stay home. My hands grow clammy as I process her words. What exactly do you mean by refined, Mom? She sighs, that familiar sound of disappointment I've heard my entire life. Your children are rather energetic, Maya. Last time Noah knocked over that antique vase. He's 4. I cut in, my voice trembling. And he apologized. We even offered to replace it. I retreat to the kitchen, my sanctuary since childhood, and grip my phone so tight my knuckles whiten. Through the partially closed door, their voices drift in like poison. It's for the best, Mom tells Dad, not bothering to lower her voice. Maya needs to understand that certain standards must be maintained. Ryan's family has always known how to respect our traditions. The boys are so well behaved, Dad agrees. Remember last Christmas? Not a single disruption. A flood of memories crashes over me. Last Christmas, Sophie proudly showing off her new dance moves while my parents stared at their phones. Ryan's oldest son performing the same routine minutes later to their undivided attention and enthusiastic applause. Noah's preschool graduation, marked only by a cursory text message claiming they were too busy that day, while they attended every single one of Ryan's boys' baseball games that same week. The favoritism plays out like a highlight reel in my mind. Extravagant birthday parties for Ryan's kids with mountains of presents, while Sophie and Noah received modest celebrations and practical gifts. My parents front row at every school play for Ryan's boys, but missing Sophie's dance recitals with paper-thin excuses. The way they lavish praise on Ryan's children for basic manners while scrutinizing my kids' every move. Ethan appears in the doorway, his presence steady and grounding. He doesn't speak, doesn't need to. His eyes meet mine, and I see the same fury I'm feeling reflected there. How many nights have we spent discussing this? His gentle suggestions that my parents' behavior was more than just old-fashioned or particular. The careful way he documented every incident, every slight, every financial favor they demanded. The loans they never repaid. The credit card they borrowed for emergencies that somehow turned into shopping sprees. The constant guilt trips about family obligation whenever I question their choices. Maya? Mom's voice breaks through my thoughts. She stands in the doorway, arms crossed. You're being rather dramatic about this. It's one dinner. I meet her gaze, really seeing her for the first time. The carefully styled hair, the expensive sweater bought with money that wasn't hers, the practiced expression of concern that never quite reaches her eyes. No, I say, my voice steadier than I expect. If my children aren't welcome, neither am I. Don't be ridiculous, she snaps. If you can't understand why I understand perfectly. I stand, my chair scraping against the tile. I understand that you've never seen my children as equals to Ryan's. I understand that you've made them feel less than worthy their entire lives. And I understand that I'm done letting you hurt them. Mom's face hardens. If that's how you feel, perhaps it's best if you do stay home. I leave the kitchen, my heels clicking against the hardwood as I pace the long corridor. Each step feels heavier than the last as years of manipulation and control press down on me. At the end of the hall, I stop at the large window overlooking the darkened street. Streetlights cast long shadows across the lawn, and my reflection stares back at me's glistening, jaw set, shoulders straight. My phone weighs heavy in my hand. There's evidence there, years of texts, emails, bank statements, proof of every manipulation, every financial abuse, every emotional betrayal. The question isn't whether to use it, but how. Do I expose everything now, lay bare every cruel calculation and selfish demand? Or do I retreat, regroup, and plan my next move with the same careful precision they've used against me all these years. I touch the cool glass, watching my breath fog the window. Behind me, the sounds of the family gathering continue louder. Conversation, the clinking of glasses. The perfect facade of a happy family built on a foundation of lies and favoritism. Something shifts inside me, the fog clears, and my reflection shows a woman I barely recognize, a stronger, clearer, more determined than I've ever been. Now I just have to decide what to do with that strength. My office chair creaks as I lean closer to my laptop screen, squinting at the latest bank statement. The numbers blur together until I blink, and suddenly they snap into horrible focus. My heart stops. 93, 0. The figure glows accusingly on my screen as I scroll through transaction after transaction. Designer boutiques, high-end restaurants, furniture stores. Each purchase bears my mother's distinctive pattern, the same stores she's bragged about shopping at for years. No, I whisper, but the evidence doesn't disappear. My hands shake as I click through to older statements. There it is, a clear trail of unauthorized charges stretching back months. Years. Each one a betrayal, each one a knife in my back. I hit print, the whir of the machine unnaturally loud in the stillness of my home office. While the pages emerge, I create a new folder on my desktop. Label it Proof. My cursor hovers over the name for a moment before I click, making it real, making it permanent. The phone feels heavy in my hand as I punch in my mother's number. My printed evidence sits beside me like a silent witness. 1 ring, 2, 3. Maya? Her voice carries that familiar note of mild irritation, as if I'm interrupting something important. What is it now? The credit card, Mom. My voice trembles despite my effort to keep it steady. $93,000? A dismissive laugh crackles through the speaker. Oh, that. It's just a card, sweetheart. You know your father and I have some expenses. Expenses? The word comes out sharp enough to cut. You used my card without permission. For years. Don't be dramatic. She sighs, the sound so practiced it might as well be scripted. This is what family does. We support each other. Your brother Ryan understands that. Ryan? I grip the phone tighter. What does Ryan have to do with this? Well, he agrees that family should stick together. He's always been so good about helping us out financially. Her tone turns honeyed, poisonous. Though of course he has those baseball league fees for the boys. My free hand balls into a fist as memories flash through my mind. Ryan's new car last year, the renovation on his house, the lavish parties for his kids, all while my parents racked up debt in my name. This ends now, I tell her, my voice steadier than I feel. I'm canceling the card. Maya Elizabeth Carter, don't you dare. I end the call, my hand shaking as I lower the phone. The room spins slightly as I process what just happened, what I just discovered. My tablet sits on the desk, and I grab it, pulling up my message history with my parents. There it is, all of it. Every guilt trip about family obligation. Every time they dismissed my concerns about money. Every instance of Ryan defending their behavior, his messages dripping with sanctimonious lectures about family duty. The evidence fills my screen, damning and undeniable. I highlight particularly telling passages, my finger trembling slightly as I mark each one. Linda's manipulation, Robert's enabling. Ryan's betrayal. Each piece fits together like a toxic puzzle I'm finally seeing clearly. A soft knock at the door makes me look up. Ethan stands there, his face a mirror of my own concern. He doesn't speak, just moves to my side and places a gentle hand on my shoulder. The weight of it grounds me, reminds me I'm not alone. Coffee? He asks quietly, and I nod. 20 minutes later, we sit in our favorite cafe with 2 of my closest friends, Sarah and Jamie. The familiar scent of roasted beans surrounds us as I show them the evidence on my tablet. Classic financial abuse, Sarah says softly. She survived her own toxic family dynamic years ago. You have to shut this down, Maya. Jamie nods, her expression fierce. We've got your back. Whatever you need. That evening, I sit at my desk again, my hand hovering over my phone. The credit card app is open, the cancel card button waiting for my touch. This small act of defiance will change everything. I press it. The confirmation screen appears, and I feel a surge of something like power. It's a small victory, but it's mine. My fingers fly across the keyboard as I continue organizing the evidence. Screenshots, bank statements, emails. Each file gets carefully labeled, dated, annotated. A notification pops up on my phone, a newly discovered folder titled Secrets. My breath catches as I open it. Voice messages, texts, hidden correspondence between my parents discussing their plans to maintain control over my finances, to keep Sophie and Noah at arm's length while lavishing attention on Ryan's children. I stare at the screen, my heart pounding against my ribs. These messages aren't just evidence of financial abuse, they're proof of every suspicion I've ever had about my family's true intentions. The question now is, what do I do with all of it? My phone buzzes for the 10th time today. Another notification from Mom's latest Facebook post. Sometimes the most ungrateful children are the ones you've sacrificed everything for. The comments roll in sympathetic responses from family friends who've known me since childhood. Now TSK skiing at my supposed selfishness. I scroll through the flood of notifications, my jaw clenching tighter with each passive-aggressive jab. Photos from last Christmas appear on my feed, carefully curated moments that paint a picture of family harmony. Mom's caption drips with calculated sweetness. Missing our loving family gatherings. Some people forget the meaning of gratitude. Turn it off, Ethan says quietly, reaching for my phone. His fingers brush mine, steady and warm. You don't need to watch this in real time. I need to know what they're saying. My voice comes out harder than intended. They're trying to destroy my reputation, Ethan. The whole town's eating it up. Through the window, I spot Mrs. Henderson from next door, averting her eyes as she hurries past our house. Just yesterday, she'd been chatting with Mom in the driveway for over an hour, their heads bent together like schoolgirls sharing secrets. The familiar weight settles in my chest, that mixture of rage and helplessness I've carried since childhood. But this time, something else rises with it, something that feels like steel in my spine. I'm done, I say, standing so abruptly my chair scrapes against the floor. I'm done letting them control the narrative. I grab my purse and car keys. Ethan doesn't ask where I'm going, already knows. The drive to my parents' house takes 7 minutes. Each turn of the wheel feels like clicking another piece into place. The family dinner is in full swing when I arrive. Through the dining room window, I see them arranged around the table like a Norman Rockwell painting. Mom at the head, Dad to her right, Ryan and his perfect family filling out the rest of the seats. The empty chairs where my children should be stand like accusations. The door isn't locked. It never is during family gatherings. Keeping up. Appearances matters more than security in this house. The sound of laughter and clinking cutlery cuts off as I step into the dining room. Maya? Mom's voice carries that familiar note of manufactured concern. We weren't expecting. No, you weren't. My voice comes out clear and steady. You weren't expecting me to show up uninvited. You weren't expecting me to stop playing by your rules. You weren't expecting me to find my voice. Ryan starts to stand, but I hold up my hand. For once, he actually stops. I've spent my entire life trying to earn your love. The words I've rehearsed 1,000 times in my head flow naturally now. I've watched you lavish attention on Ryan's children while treating mine like inconveniences. I've let you manipulate me, shame me, and use me for your own gain. But that ends today. Mom's face hardens. If you're going to cause a scene. A scene? I laugh, and the sound surprises even me. You want to talk about scenes like the scene you're making on social media? The carefully crafted posts painting me as an ungrateful daughter? The whisper campaign you're running through the neighborhood? I pull out my phone, opening the folder where I've documented everything. Should we talk about the $93,000 in credit card charges? The loans you never repaid? The emotional blackmail? Because I have receipts for all of it. The color drains from Mom's face. Across the table, Ryan's wife suddenly becomes very interested in her plate. Dad's hand trembles as he reaches for his water glass. You can't just... Mom starts, but her voice lacks its usual authority. I can. I will. And I am. Each word feels like breaking another link in the chains they've wrapped around me. You tried to turn the community against me? Fine. Let's see how they react to the truth. Every manipulation, every lie, every dollar, you stole all of it, documented and ready to share. The silence that follows feels like a physical presence in the room. In that moment, I see them, clearly see them. Mom's perfectly styled hair can't hide the fear in her eyes. Dad's expensive watch looks like a shackle on his wrist. Ryan's practiced expression of concern has cracked, revealing the panic underneath. I turn to leave, then pause in the doorway. Oh, and Mom, next time you want to post about family values, remember screenshots last forever. Back home, our kitchen fills with the warmth of friendship and support. Jessica clutches her coffee mug, her face a mix of concern and pride as I recount the confrontation. Ethan stands behind my chair, his presence steady and grounding. You should have seen their faces, I say, my hands still trembling slightly. When I mentioned the credit card charges, I have the bank statements right here, Jessica interrupts, pulling out a thick manila folder. And those text messages where your mom admitted using the card without permission. She spreads the documents across our kitchen table, each piece of evidence another nail in the coffin of their manipulation. We're with you, Ethan says quietly. Whatever comes next. Later that evening, I stand in the community center, surrounded by familiar faces that now wear expressions of shock and disbelief. The projector hums behind me, displaying statement after statement, charge after charge. These aren't stories or rumors, I tell the crowd, my voice steady. These are facts. Bank statements, text messages, recorded conversations. Each click of the presentation remote feels like a hammer striking steel. This is the truth about the family that's been spreading lies about me. Afterward, I retreat to my home office, shutting the door on the world. The lamp casts a soft glow as memories flood back Sophie's dance recital that they skipped, Noah's preschool graduation they were too busy for. Countless moments of subtle cruelty wrapped in smiles and excuses. My hands move automatically, creating new folders on my laptop. Each piece of evidence finds its place: financial documents in one, text messages in another, social media posts in a third. I back everything up to an encrypted cloud drive, then a physical hard drive. No chance of losing any of it now. The notification sound makes me jump. A new email from an unfamiliar address sent to my old account. The subject line reads, Carter Family Trust Confidential. My cursor hovers over the attachment. Final Truth PDF. I click, and my screen fills with documents I've never seen before. Emails between Mom and her business partner discussing plans that go far beyond mere financial exploitation. My heart races as I scan the contents, understanding blooming like ice in my veins. This isn't just evidence of their manipulation, it's proof of something much darker, something that could change everything. I save the folder to multiple locations, my mind already racing with possibilities. They thought they had all the power, but they never saw this coming. Neither did I. My hands shake as I spread the documents across the community center's oak conference table. Bank statements fan out like playing cards, each one a piece of damning evidence against my parents. The fluorescent lights overhead cast harsh shadows on the papers, making the numbers seem to leap off the page. $93,000 in unauthorized charges, meticulously documented. What exactly are we looking at here, Maya? Aunt Sarah's voice wavers as she leans forward, squinting at the statements. I draw in a steadying breath. Every single charge my parents made on credit cards they opened in my name. My finger traces a line of transactions. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, even Ryan's children's private school tuition. The assembled family members shift uncomfortably in their chairs. Mom's carefully applied makeup can't hide how her face has gone ashen. Dad stares at his hands, suddenly fascinated by his wedding ring. Ryan stands in the corner, arms crossed, jaw clenched. That's not, Mom starts, but I cut her off by playing the first voicemail recording on my phone. Her own voice fills the room. Asterisk. Maya, honey, you know we needed that card for emergencies. What kind of daughter refuses to help her parents? After everything we've done for you. Asterisk. I tap to the next recording. And the next. Each message drips with manipulation, guilt, demands. The room grows heavier with each revelation. Mom surges to her feet, hands fluttering like trapped birds. You're taking everything out of context. We've always supported you. Always. Always what, Mom? Always made me feel less than. Always favored Ryan's kids over mine? My voice remains steady, even as my pulse races. or always stole from me while pretending it was my duty to give. Maya. She forces a trembling smile. Sweetheart, if you felt this way, you should have said something. We can work this out as a family. There's no need for such drama. Dad nods eagerly. We'll make it right, Princess. Whatever you think we owe. This isn't about money. I pull up the text messages on the projector screen. This is about years of manipulation, emotional abuse, favoritism. The messages scroll past. Mom canceling plans with Sophie and Noah while posting photos at Ryan's kids' events. Dad promising to attend dance recitals, then making excuses. Constant criticism of my parenting while praising Ryan's. Ryan pushes off from the wall. Come on, Maya. We're family. Whatever's happened, we need to stick together. Think about what this is doing to Mom and Dad. I meet his gaze. I am thinking about family, Ryan. I'm thinking about my children, who deserve better than to be treated as second-class grandchildren. I'm thinking about the example I'm setting for them about not accepting abuse, even from family. Abuse? Mom's voice rises sharply. How dare you use that word? Everything we've done has been out of love. Ethan steps forward, placing a stack of additional papers on the table. Love doesn't max out credit cards in your daughter's name, Linda. His quiet voice carries more weight than Mom's protests. Love doesn't play favorites with grandchildren. My friend Rachel moves to stand beside me, adding her own folder to the evidence pile. I've witnessed it for years. The manipulation, the guilt trips, the financial exploitation. Mom's face contorts. This is ridiculous. You're all conspiring against us. I slide the final document across the table. This is a copy of the police report I filed this morning, documenting the identity theft and credit card fraud. The room goes silent. Even Ryan's constant fidgeting stops. I pick up my phone, finger hovering over a folder labeled Final Secret. The weight of what it contains settles in my chest. Not yet. This revelation can wait until they've fully processed what I've already shared. Maya, Mom whispers, her composure finally cracking. You wouldn't really press charges against your own parents. I gather my documents with steady hands. That's exactly what you never understood, Mom. This isn't about what I would or wouldn't do. This is about what you did, what you chose. Every time you favored Ryan's family, every time you manipulated me, every time you stole from me. I zip my laptop bag closed, the sound sharp in the stunned silence. The question isn't what I'm willing to do. The question is, what were you willing to do to your own daughter? The room erupts in murmurs as I walk toward the door. Behind me, Mom's protests mix with Dad's placating tone and Ryan's accusations. But for the first time in my life, their voices don't have the power to make me turn back. The Civic Center's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows across Mom's face as she steps up to the microphone. Her designer blazer, probably purchased with my credit card, is immaculate, her expression a perfect mask of maternal concern. We're deeply worried about our grandchildren, she says, her voice trembling with practiced emotion. Maya's behavior is. She pauses, dabbing at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. We just want what's best for Sophie and Noah. My fingers curl around the manila folder in my lap. Inside are bank statements, text messages, and recorded conversations, a paper trail of betrayal spanning years. Next to me, Ethan's hand finds mine, his grip steady and warm. As grandparents, we have rights. Dad chimes in, his voice carrying across the packed room. Legal rights that ensure we can maintain a relationship with our grandchildren. Maya needs to understand that her actions have consequences. A murmur ripples through the crowd. I catch fragments of whispered conversations. Such devoted grandparents, and why would any mother deny her children? The community meeting continues as Mom and Dad orchestrate their performance. They've always been good at this, spinning narratives, manipulating perceptions. I remember how they'd praise Ryan's kids for the same behaviors they'd criticize in Sophie and Noah, how they'd shower his family with attention while making my children feel like uninvited guests. My phone buzzes, another message from their lawyer hinting at the costly battle ahead if I don't see reason. They know I can't match their resources in a prolonged legal fight. They're counting on it, but they don't know what I know. I stand, my heels clicking against the polished floor as I approach the podium. The folder feels heavier with each step, weighted with years of documented abuse and manipulation. Mom's smile falters as I pass her, a crack in her perfect facade. I'd like to address the claims my parents have made, I say, my voice steadier than expected. The microphone picks up every word as I begin methodically laying out my evidence. First, the bank statements. Over the past 5 years, my parents have made unauthorized charges totaling $93, $427 on credit cards opened in my name. I project the documents onto the screen behind me, each transaction highlighted in damning yellow. Here's a $3,000 charge at Nordstrom. Here's $5,000 for a vacation I never took. Here's $2,500 for furniture I've never seen. Mom's face drains of color as I continue. And here are the text messages. I scroll through screenshots, her own words condemning her. Asterisk. Don't be selfish, Maya. Family takes care of family. Asterisk and asterisk. If you can't help your parents financially, what kind of daughter are you? Asterisk. The room has gone silent. Even the usual shuffling of papers and clearing of throats has ceased. My brother Ryan shifts uncomfortably in his seat as I play the voicemail he left last Christmas. Asterisk. Mom and Dad need that money more than you do. Stop being difficult and just give them the card. Asterisk. I move through my presentation with surgical precision, each piece of evidence another nail in the coffin of their manipulation. Years of meticulous documentation unfold before the community's eye-severy guilt trip. Every financial abuse, every emotional manipulation laid bare. This isn't about grandparents' rights, I say, my voice cutting through the stunned silence. This is about control, about financial exploitation, about using their grandchildren as pawns in their manipulation games. The evidence is irrefutable. Bank records don't lie. Text messages don't forget. Voicemails don't change their story. I see the moment the tide turns. It's in the way the community leaders lean forward, in the shocked expressions of people who've known my parents for decades. Mom's carefully constructed image of the doting grandmother crumbles as the truth emerges, stark and undeniable. I've spent years documenting every transaction, every manipulation, every attempt to control my life through financial and emotional abuse. I continue, my voice growing stronger. I'm not here to ask for sympathy. I'm here to expose the truth. The last piece of evidence appears on the screen, a recorded conversation where Mom and Dad discuss their strategy for using my children to maintain their control. Their own voices fill the Civic Center, discussing Sophie and Noah like bargaining chips rather than beloved grandchildren. As the recording plays, I watch my parents' carefully crafted facade collapse entirely. Mom's perfectly composed expression shatters. Dad's confident posture crumples. The power they've wielded for so long evaporates in the harsh light of truth. Behind me, dozens of faces stare in horror at the evidence of years of manipulation. The community leaders who once smiled indulgently at my parents' version of events now look at them with dawning recognition. The whispers have a different tone now: shock, disgust, sympathy for my children. I close my folder, each movement deliberate. These are not the actions of loving grandparents, I say quietly. These are the actions of manipulators who use family ties as weapons, and I'm done letting them hurt my children. The reaction is immediate and overwhelming. Mrs. Chen, who's known our family for 20 years, stands up first. I've watched these children grow up, she says, her voice sharp with disappointment. I've seen how differently you treat them, Linda. How could you? Others join in, years of carefully hidden observations suddenly finding voice. The pristine reputation my parents cultivated crumbles with each new revelation. Social media notifications ping on phones throughout the room as the story spreads. Mom's carefully curated image, the devoted grandmother, the community pillar dissolves in real time. I stand at the podium, watching the destruction of their social facade. This is more than exposure, it's liberation. Each shocked gasp, each disapproving murmur, each sharp intake of breath is another brick falling from the walls they built to contain me. Maya, Mom's voice cuts through the chaos, desperate now. You're misrepresenting. Number? My voice rings out, clear and final. I'm done letting you twist the truth. I'm done letting you manipulate my children. I'm done letting you control our lives through guilt and financial abuse. Each word lands like a physical blow, making her flinch. This is my symbolic slapknot with hands but with truth. The room falls silent as I gather my things. In this moment, I am neither victim nor victor. I am simply free. But as I step away from the podium, my phone vibrates. A message from an unknown number. Asterisk. The game isn't over, Maya. Some secrets stay buried. For now, asterisk. I slip the phone into my pocket, my heart racing despite my calm exterior. The truth is out, but something tells me this isn't the end. It's just the beginning of something else entirely. The evening sun warms my face as I settle into the white wicker chair on our new porch, my fingers wrapped around a steaming mug of chamomile tea. Sophie's laughter rings clear across our yard as she chases Noah through the sprinkler, their wet footprints marking temporary paths on the concrete. Water droplets catch the light, creating tiny rainbows that dance around my children like protective spirits. Ethan leans against the porch railing, his quiet presence as steady as always. When he catches my eye, his smile holds all the understanding we've built through years of fighting this battle together. He doesn't need to say anything, we both know how far we've come. "Mom!" Sophie calls out, her dark curls plastered to her forehead. "Watch this!" She executes a perfect cartwheel through the spray, landing with the grace of a gymnast. Noah immediately tries to copy her, resulting in more of a cheerful tumble. My chest tightens, but not from anxiety this time. This is different of fullness, an abundance of something I never felt in my parents' presence. Pride, joy, unconditional love. The sprinkler's gentle hiss reminds me of that final confrontation 6 months ago, standing on a different porch, listening to my mother's attempts at manipulation falling like water against stone. I'd returned there one last time to collect the remaining pieces of my past. The weathered wood had creaked under my feet just as it always had, but I was no longer the same woman who once trembled at that sound. I touched the smooth surface of my phone, remembering how it felt to finally delete their numbers. Not in anger, not in revenge, but with the quiet certainty of someone closing a book they never need to read again. The wind rustles through our maple tree trees we planted ourselves when we bought this house, roots growing deep into soil that belongs to us alone. A cardinal lands on the branch nearest to me, its red feathers bright against the green leaves. It reminds me of the journal entry I wrote last night. Freedom isn't the absence of pain, it's the presence of choice. I've been writing a lot lately. Sometimes about the past, but more often about the future. About the weekly support group I started for others trapped in toxic family dynamics. About the look in a young mother's eyes last Thursday when she realized she wasn't alone. About the text message I received yesterday. You gave me the courage to say no to them for the first time. Ethan moves to sit beside me, the chair creaking softly under his weight. "Penny, for your thoughts?" he asks, his voice carrying that gentle curiosity that first drew me to him. "I was thinking about Sarah," I say, referring to the newest member of our support group. The way she described her mother's financial manipulation, it was like hearing my own story played back. He nods, understanding flowing between us like an electric current. "You gave her hope today. I saw it in her face when you shared your journey." The sun dips lower, painting the sky in brilliant streaks of orange and purple. Noah runs up to the porch, his small feet pattering against the steps. "Mama, I'm hungry," he announces, water dripping from his eyelashes. I scoop him up, not caring that his wet clothes soak into my shirt. Sophie joins us, wrapping her arms around my waist, and I breathe in the clean scent of their damp hair. This is what freedom smells like: laundry detergent, wet grass, and the lingering traces of sunblock. Standing here, with my children's hearts beating against mine and Ethan's steady presence beside me, I feel the truth of it all settle into my bones. We aren't just survivors of what was done to us. We're architects of what comes next. The sky continues its color transformation, each shade more vibrant than the last. My eyes sting with tears that have nothing to do with sadness. These are tears of recognition of seeing, finally, the woman I've become, the mother I choose to be, the life we're building, brick by brick, moment by moment, choice by choice. I turn my gaze from my family to you, whoever you are, reading these words. Maybe you see yourself in my story. Maybe you're standing at the edge of your own decision, wondering if freedom is worth the price. I'll tell you what I wish someone had told me. What does true freedom mean to you? And more importantly, what would you sacrifice to reclaim it? A smile spreads across my face, not the careful, measured expression I once wore like armor, but something real and fierce and completely my own. I already know my answer. Do you?